All right, Matt, today we're going to talk about bigger pockets and how we have different options for people who are being affected by this site. And Bigger Pockets is it's a real estate forum site, and it's pretty popular if you operate a business in the real estate niche.
Mhm.
Um, it ranks really well. Like we're seeing like these forum sites like Reddit, Quora, almost the anything that you Google these days, I feel like you're seeing Reddit and Quora on page one. And now, if you're a real estate entrepreneur, maybe you flip houses or you sell courses or anything, people are going to be chit chatting about it on Bigger Pockets. And the impact here is if you've got a negative thread or negative comments, it can really affect your business. So, what do we do about people with negative stuff on Bigger Pockets?
Yeah, so we had a client who had an issue with it, and at the time I didn't have a removal guy that could handle it, so I went hunting, and we found someone. He is legit. His success rate though is 50-50, but as everything we do, it is pay performance based and pay upon success. So if he does fail, then nothing's due. There's ultimately three options on how he can help. One is plucking out complaints. The second is removing the whole page, and the third is de-indexing it.
Okay, so
Plucking out,
before,
yeah,
yeah, I was just going to ask you, and you're probably going to get right to it. So when you say pluck out a complaint, we're talking about, let's say there's a thread that someone started initially with, "Hey, I was thinking about buying so and so's course. What do you guys think?" And then all these people start chiming in, and maybe one of those complaints you're calling it, maybe we call it a comment, is from someone who's like, "Don't buy it. It stinks. It's the worst thing ever. It's overpriced."
exactly. So yeah, if one guy is saying it's terrible and nine other guys are saying it's great, it makes sense to pluck out that one.
Right.
If you have 10 people saying it sucks and one person saying it's great, makes sense to get rid of the whole page.
Yeah, so the whole thread would, and then you mentioned deleting or de-indexing. Can you explain sort of the difference?
Yeah, so deleting would be removing the whole page from the source. It won't exist at the source. If you go to biggerpockets.com and search, nowhere to be found. A de-index means it won't show up on Google, Yahoo, Bing for the search keywords. Same end result. People rarely go to BiggerPockets directly. Everyone just uses search engines, but just different way to get to the finish line.
And I guess the nuance on this one is that, if I Google, like we do have a couple clients who have a problem with Bigger Pockets. And if you Google, their business name, you do see the Bigger Pockets, but then you see Google showing like three or four different threads underneath the main title. And
Mhm.
so if we get rid of one of those threads through a de-index or a delete, other threads are just going to pop into that position, right?
Exactly. So we and he does charge on a per URL basis, per thread basis. We do give discounts, of course, so there's multiple. But if you're on a limited budget and you have multiple threads, it makes sense to just pluck out the really bad ones, keep the other ones in place maybe. Uh, but yeah, it's not removing the whole platform, it's removing each thread.
Yeah, so there's some risk here and there's some nuance, and certainly it warrants a conversation with you to take a look at it and say, okay, well, you actually have 10 bad threads on Bigger Pockets, and so if we pluck out one or two, the other ones are just going to backfill right in there. So
Exactly.
maybe,
But might
maybe,
not do it as prominently too. So let's say you have, let's say just two threads. One thread has tons of comments, lots of words. The other one has just one question, one answer, really short, one sentence. If we get rid of the big one, the second one, yeah, will show up, but it wouldn't show up as prominently as the last one just because the word count's not there, for example.
makes a lot of sense. So we really do have to take a detailed look at this and kind of, guesstimate on experience what we think is going to happen.
Yeah, there's a few factors like keyword selection, how often the business name is mentioned, what the title of the post is. If the business name is in the title, that's detrimental. So yeah, just give me a call and we can kind of hash things out.
But in general, if a client has, fewer threads or comments that are bad, we would probably go the removal route in some capacity.
Mhm.
But if they have a lot of bad stuff, then maybe the goal is just to try to push down BiggerPockets entirely, right?
Yeah, good question. Good answer. If you're on a limited budget and you have tons of threads about this, then suppression's the way to go, where we create and promote positive content about you and the company to outrank it.
And then in terms of removal, you mentioned at the outset 50-50 success rate on removing threads.
Mhm.
Client only pays if we're successful, right?
Exactly. Always.
And then do we have a timeline for how long this could take?
25 to 45 days.
Great. Well, Matt, thanks. And if you're watching this today and you're in the real estate business and you're being sabotaged by BiggerPockets, you feel it's hurting your business, please reach out. We're very affordable. We're going to stand behind our work and help you improve your online reputation.
Thanks, Mike.